You're working harder, but seeing diminishing returns. Patient compliance mysteriously drops despite your excellent care. There seems to be an invisible ceiling to your practice growth no matter how hard you try and what strategies you implement. How do I know? Because I've lived it. I'm Dr. Irene Cop with dual doctorates in both Eastern and Western medicine spanning over 30 years. What I couldn't see was that I had developed a hidden health condition. While driving with my two young sons in the car, I lost consciousness, and our car drove straight at full speed into a massive rock face. My 4-year-old son suffered a catastrophic brain injury, and after emergency brain surgery, top neurosurgeons told me he would never walk, talk, or pass high school. Lying in my lonely hospital bed with 10 broken bones, I made 2 vows. The practice and life you envisioned is still possible. What I'm about to share with you might feel uncomfortable, but it could explain why you're feeling exhausted, unfulfilled, and maybe questioning your career choice. Recent industry surveys show that we are losing healthcare professionals at an alarming rate, and this trend began long before the recent global health crisis. I call this the 10-year curse. It's a predictable timeline I've observed in so many of my high-achieving clients, including doctors and other health professionals. And how it might go like is this. You graduate and it's go, 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 go. For about a decade, you focus solely on building your practice, helping everyone else while neglecting yourself. And then suddenly, you hit the wall. Perhaps you're working harder, but seeing diminishing returns. Patient compliance mysteriously drops despite your excellent care. There seems to be an invisible ceiling to your practice growth no matter how hard you try and what strategies you implement. And the joy that led you to medicine is slowly disappearing. Time with your family is constantly sacrificed for maybe just administrative tasks. And here's the thing. I recently had dinner with a European medical doctor who confided something very disturbing to me. She said that her colleagues are simply disappearing from hospital wards, never to return. We don't talk about it, she told me. It's like our dirty secret. And what this means is it's not just North America, it's Europe, it's Australia. This is a global crisis. Even more troubling is how we've been programmed to wear struggle like some badge of honor. As if sacrificing our health and relationships somehow makes us better healers. Here's what's fascinating. The more clinically excellent you are, the more likely you are to hit these invisible walls. Think about it. We were taught jurisprudence to avoid malpractice, but who taught us to actually succeed in practice? Instead, we were programmed with the belief that all we had to do was be the best doctor we could, and patients would beat a path to our door. Then graduation came, and crickets. And so it began. You invested in marketing courses, practice management systems, more certifications, but you felt like you were constantly rolling a boulder uphill only to have it fall back down on you. In the meantime, you've accumulated massive student loans, a mortgage, maybe a couple car loans, and the cost of your kids' activities are starting to mount. And just like other humans, you and your family members get sick or injured. Nope, you're not immune to it. And that's when the wheels start to fall off the bus, right around that 10-year mark, like weight gain, brain fog, exhaustion from sleepless nights worrying, annoying aches and pains, maybe embarrassing itchy rashes, and sex. What sex? You're just way too exhausted. So relationships become strained because you have one nerve left and everyone's stepping on it. Maybe you're even yelling at your kids for leaving their shoes where you could trip over them as you come in the door from an exhausting day. Maybe you're feeling guilty because you're working through your kids' ball game and getting home late for supper. Or you take home work just to be there, even if you're not really present. Perhaps you dread going to work in the morning and you dread going home at night because you got nothing. You feel bled dry. And when you are in perpetually what I call survival mode, your prefrontal cortex, no one preached to the choir here, is responsible for creativity and strategic thinking and good decision making. It's wiped offline physiologically. It's not metaphorical. It's literal neurophysiology. Take Dr. Dan, who had a heart attack at age 37, 10 years into practice, while running not just one, but 4 busy practices. Other Health Pro clients have developed autoimmune disorders like multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, Graves' disease, and more. And they all felt like failures because they believed that they were supposed to help everyone else, and they couldn't even help themselves. What I discovered is that the very qualities that made you an excellent clinician, your drive, your perfectionism, your willingness to sacrifice, are the very same qualities that are now actively working against your success. Or maybe you're succeeding, but at great sacrifice to your health, relationships, and personal life, and feeling more and more alone and more like a failure. How do I know? Because I've lived it. After a decade in my own practice, I had just celebrated my best year. A major bank had even asked me to coach their other doctor clients on how to succeed. What I couldn't see was that I had developed a hidden health condition despite doing everything right. While driving with my 2 young sons in the car, I lost consciousness, and our car drove straight at full speed into a massive rock face. I broke 10 bones, but that was the least of it. My 4-year-old son suffered a catastrophic brain injury, and after emergency brain surgery, top neurosurgeons told me he would never walk, talk, or pass high school because he was missing about 20% of his brain. To know that my son would be special needs for the rest of his life because of me was completely unacceptable to me. So, lying in my lonely hospital bed with 10 broken bones, I made 2 vows. One, that I would help my son heal against all odds, no matter what it took. And second, that I would help as many others as possible avoid the suffering that my family and I suffered. That I needed to make my family's suffering worthwhile. And what I discovered through years of research and working with so many healthcare professionals worldwide is that everything we've been taught about success in medicine is fundamentally flawed. Today, I'm happy to say that my son, who wasn't supposed to walk, talk, or pass high school, has done all three and more, graduating university as an engineer, despite still missing about 20% of his brain tissue. And I've developed what I call the Neurobiology of Success, a completely different approach to practice success that begins not with your clinical skills or business strategies, but with how your brain and nervous system respond to the unique pressures of life and healthcare. It addresses the 5 hidden forces that silently derail even the most dedicated health professionals. It leverages your brain's neurobiology instead of fighting against it. It transforms practice success from constant struggle to sustainable growth. In my next video, I'll be talking about that feeling of being off track. When you look at your practice and think, this isn't what I signed up for. And we'll discuss what's really going on beneath the surface. If what I've shared resonates with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Remember, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not failing. You are responding normally to an abnormal approach to success. There's a better way forward, and it begins with understanding these hidden forces. The practice and life you envisioned is still possible, and it really doesn't have to be so hard.